Hi everyone, very good morning. Can you hear me? Yes, thank you, Sunil. Please give us few more minutes. We are waiting for a few more people. Else we'll start by 9:35. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining on time. I see most of the people joined on time. First, let me introduce myself. I am Kiran. So I'll be driving these sessions on Power BI. So I'm part of team Excelytics. So generally, I take care of Excel, SQL, and Power BI for the next couple of days. So I'll be delivering a few topics on Power BI. Yeah, I know some of the participants here, but if somebody is very new, can you help me with your name and why are you planning to learn Power BI? Can somebody please unmute yourself and speak? Else you can put it in the chat.
Hi,
We
Kiran.
pause it
Good
for a minute.
morning. I hope I'm audible.
If you are not familiar with Excel, then you may not understand the fundamental concepts, guys. You may learn the technology, but you miss the fundamental flavor. That is like, why do we have to prepare a report? Is it really important? And why management always asks for reports? And what are they trying to gain out of that? So you may consider them as insights. So when it comes to reporting and analytics, it's not only creating wonderful or good looking reports or dashboards. We must be able to create some insights out of that. So to create insights out of that, first you must have a fair understanding on data. If you are not able to understand data, then there is no point to learn any technology here related to data analytics. That's the reason. So I suggest if you are familiar with Excel and if you are familiar with data, then the course what we are going to discuss makes absolute sense. This is the first thing. Second thing, you must be familiar with query language. The reason why, every time don't expect that all your data sources will be text files or maybe Excel files. Absolutely no, because we need to work with RDBMS. I'm really not sure how many of you are familiar with the word RDBMS. I'm not talking about the full form, guys. I'm talking about the data management through RDBMS. So because every organizations manage their data through RDBMS. If that's the case, you must be able to extract data and you must be able to transform data and you must be able to cleanse the data. If you are not able to do all these things, then like Amrita mentioned, we cannot create the nice dashboard here. I would straight away go with the word dashboard. Then let me come here. That's the reason. So here we deal with the query language. The most preferred query language is SQL. The reason why most of the times we deal with tables as we are dealing with the tables. It's really, really important to work with tables. And whenever we need any piece of information, we extract data from table format. In case you're not having the data sources in table formats, then we go with NoSQL, but that's like a later part. But if you're planning to learn Power BI, so the two prerequisites, you must be good with Excel or data. I wouldn't say you must be proficient with Excel. At least you must know how to handle the data. Then you should be good with query language. If you are not familiar with these two, then you cannot become proficient with Power BI, guys. This is a reality. So few people say that even if you don't know SQL, if you don't know how to work with Excel, they say that you can easily learn Power BI. Yes, you can learn Power BI, but when it comes to application, absolutely it doesn't make sense. You can absolutely learn Power BI, but that's not enough to get into job or to make a career switch. So You must be a proficient in Power BI. The reason why Power BI is drastically changing. So if you're not familiar or if you're not proficient with Power BI, then obviously it will become very difficult to get a job or to switch your role. Next thing, I'm really not sure how many of you heard this word, Microsoft Fabric. Now, slowly, things are, the entire Power BI ecosystem is changing drastically. So that's where we are dealing with a lot of components in Power BI, sorry, in Microsoft Fabric. Now, especially in this course, so far, I haven't done to any batch. Now, what I'm trying to do here is we will go through Power BI topics as well. We will touch some of the concepts in Microsoft Fabric. This is a plan, what I have, especially for this batch, guys. So I'm really not sure how many of you have gone through the course content of Excelytics. So this is the course content. I would request everyone take this course content from front office team, from our team. So you can go through the course content and you can learn or you can find out what are the topics we are going to cover as part of this course, guys. So I request everyone, please go through this course content because it's very, very important. At the end of the sessions, you can definitely come back and ask by any chance if I missed to cover any topic here. Yeah, so this is the course content, guys. Please go through this. And apart from the course content, what we mentioned here, so like I said earlier, we are going to have some introduction on Microsoft Fabric also. So this is included as part of the sessions what we are going to have, guys. Am I clear? Does anyone have any question? Please feel free to unmute yourself and speak, else you can put it in the chat even.
Kiran, Amrita here. Is it
Yeah.
really very crucial to be an expert with SQL or RDBMS or a basic?
Thank you for asking that. So
Yeah.
let me come here. See, I'm not saying that you need to have like a DBA level knowledge with SQL. Let me explain the full form: database administrator. If you are planning to become a pure database administrator, then you need to have a SQL at a different level. But so here we need SQL as a data analyst. So let me list out the topics here. What are the topics we require? So you must be able to read data from table. So like what are the columns we have in a particular table? Sorry, in a particular table, and what are the tables we have in a particular database, and how server functions. You must be familiar with all these topics. And when you are reading the data from a table, so let me put it like this, the right word is you must be able to extract the data from a table. While extracting data, how efficient you can make it, because straight away you cannot extract the entire information. Certainly we need to use some filters or we need to apply some conditions here. So that's where you must be familiar with how to use where clause, group by, having, order by. You must be familiar with these commands. Once you are done with this, we must be familiar with the joins. What are the basic joins we have and what are the advanced joins we have? And after this, we must be familiar with set operators. And once we are done with the set operators, we must be familiar with subqueries. Then finally, if you know some window functions, that's like advantage for you. Because the moment you attend any interview on Power BI, if they are conducting the test, especially like maybe that is a paper test or maybe some assignment, what they are doing, they are keeping at least 2 to 3 questions on these topics. So these are the topics what we require as part of SQL. Am I clear, Amrita?
Yeah, totally makes sense. Thank you.
Because all these topics certainly help us for effective data extraction. We are not going to store any data as a data analyst. The reason why, so DBA team will be there. They will take care of the entire data administration activity. But so here, if you want to prepare a report, you should have data. So that's where we need to learn how to extract data. And while extracting data, we need to follow a lot of conditions. And we need to know, even you need to take care of bit of performance optimization also. So these topics are pretty much required to work as a data analyst. And somebody is saying something, I'm not good in query language. So this course provide me that knowledge as well. So let me give you honest answer. We will, whenever require, yes, we will cover certain topics, but I would suggest, apart from the discussion what we are having in the session, I would suggest you to have enough practice on these topics. That's not optional. I say mandate. The reason why, sometimes we write native queries in Power BI window itself. If you're not able to do that, then what happens whenever you're trying to extract the data, it takes a lot of time. So it increases your lead time, which means whenever you want to prepare a report, that takes a lot of time, because data extraction is the major component. Now, if it is, first of all, if it is taking a lot of time to extract your data, how can you prepare a report effectively? So that's the reason we must be familiar with all these topics. Yeah. Am I clear, Satyagiti? Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Let's go with the honest answer, guys. So because after this, you must not regret that this topic is not covered or that topic is not covered. No, we should not have any regrets. So that regrets. That's the reason what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to set the platform here. Then, when it comes to Excel part, I mean, if somebody is coming from Excel background, so you must know how do you write a formula. Yeah. So, and you must be familiar with some of the Excel functions here. So you must be familiar with how to write a formula and what are the components we have in a formula and how do we read a syntax and how do we understand arguments. You must be familiar like this. Yeah. Then you must be familiar with pivot table, because pivot table has drag and drop feature. So we use the same kind of feature even in Power BI. So if you want to learn Power BI, you must be familiar with pivot table. The reason why, pivot table, along with pivot table, we use one more word a lot here that is called slicer or timeline. So you talk about any report or any dashboard, we'll be working with certain tables and certain summarizations along with slicers and timelines. These are nothing but filters. So if you are familiar with these topics in Excel, definitely you can understand Power BI very easily. Otherwise, I would request, please get a fair understanding on it. Then it makes a lot of sense. You can easily understand Power BI topics. The reason why in Power BI, we have DAX. So this is like heart of Power BI. If you want to be master with the DAX, you must be able to understand how a function syntax works and why do we use a syntax, why do we follow syntax, and how do we read arguments out of the syntax, and based on that, how do we pass our values into the arguments, and we will be able to get the required output. In case you're not getting the required output, how do you validate your output? We use all these things in Excel. So you must be familiar with all these topics, guys. Yep. Any other questions? Thank you, Sayed. Yeah, so these are very important. Yeah. So my sincere request, don't be fooled by some YouTube ads and YouTube, yeah, content creators. No, it's not possible to straight away. We are not doing any magic here, guys. Your salary will never jump from 3 lakhs to 15 lakhs. Absolutely no. Yeah, unless you prove your proficiency. So to prove your proficiency, we should have consistent learning and we should have proficiency in the subject. It is not only creating some charts or reports. No, you should be able to solve business problem. If you are given a business problem, how do you derive your solution using a technology called Power BI? It is not only about Power BI, guys. What is your mindset towards your data handling? And how do you resolve your problem? That's where your cognitive skills comes into picture and your technology skills comes into picture. So based on that, we derive our business insights and those will help the C-suite or the higher management to take proper decisions. So that's what we are going to do with Power BI. Any other questions we have? Hope I'm not confusing. Again, please feel free to ask if you have any questions, guys. Yes, thank you. Okay, let me move on. Can somebody help me? Or let me rephrase my question. Why Power BI is used? What is the purpose to use Power BI, guys? Can somebody help me to understand this? What if we have only Excel knowledge? Sachin, that's what I said. If you are not a fresher, at least if you have like 2 years of experience, then I would say having a thorough knowledge on these topics is mandate. But if you are a fresher, yeah, basic knowledge is okay. But if you are experienced person, then to stand out in the competition what we have these days, these topics are must. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was at a particular question here, guys. Can somebody help me? Why do we use Power BI?
I'd like to answer that.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Obviously, data analysis and insights, which we all are aware of, but the interactive dashboards, the data connectivity, real-time updates are very, very quick, also cost-effective. And what I observed is the integration with Microsoft ecosystem. That's pretty much many organizations have Microsoft as their ecosystem, right, inside the company. So Power BI has seamlessly, it connects with and talks to the data. So the beautiful dashboards that come in. So overall, life is easy and very professional. Not much time taking. Initially, it takes time to build things, but later it's like the loop just runs and data is always updated real time. So that's something I feel much enhancing the business to take right calls in the right time and speedy the overall business efficiency also, both functionally and technically.
That's perfect. Indeed, you gave me a very clear explanation. Thank you so much. That's true. So now let me come here, guys. Initially, Power BI was introduced in 2015. Though Power BI was introduced in 2015, still, I guess, like till 2019, Power BI didn't gain popularity. So during this time, Tableau was ruling the market. If we have any experienced people, they know it very well because most of the organizations, they used to use Tableau a lot. And still, few companies are still using Tableau. I'm not saying that Tableau is out of the market. No, Tableau and Power BI, these two are the market leaders in business intelligence tools. I'm not talking about visualization tools, guys. Power BI is never a visualization tool. So please don't stop at only visualization. So generally people say that Power BI is a visualization tool. No, it's a business intelligence tool. Like our friend mentioned, yes, you can go with end-to-end decision making using Power BI. It is not only creating some charts or it is not creating some tables. Absolutely no. Whenever a management wants to take a decision using the techniques what we have in Power BI, you can go with a particular decision, guys. So that's where I call Power BI as a business intelligence tool, not a visualization tool. So from 2019, I would say absolutely during COVID period, Power BI gained a lot of momentum, and now it is the leading business intelligence tool in the market. So if you compare Power BI and Tableau, each application has its own advantages and disadvantages. But if you are dealing with humongous data sets, then Tableau has its advantage. But like our friend mentioned, when it comes to cost-wise and the ecosystem, what do we mean by ecosystem? Because every company will be using a lot of other applications. Now, if you are using other application and if you are trying to connect that application with Power BI, so most of the applications are coming from Microsoft. So as it is a product of Microsoft, the integration can be done very easily. That's where people are feeling real flexibility. So that's where most of the organizations are moving out of Tableau. They are migrating their reports and dashboards to Power BI. So that's where these days, if you observe, you see most of the job opportunities on Power BI compared to Tableau. The reason why, first thing, like our friend mentioned, it has very good ecosystem and cost. Now, let me come here. Best data connectivity, absolutely. Yeah, when I say ecosystem, so here, whenever you want to prepare any report, you must have all the data sources and you must be able to connect all the data sources with your visualization tool or with your business intelligence tool. In that case, if the integration is not done very easily, then people spend a lot of time on integration only, and they waste a lot of time there. So here, integration can be done very easily, and whoever is familiar with Excel user interface, they can easily work with Power BI. So all the Excel users they found using Power BI is very easy. So that's where now most of the people are using Power BI a lot. Yeah, let me come here. So now here I prepared a small notes, guys. Even I'll share this notes in the group. So here we have some notes here. I would request everyone to go through these notes. I'll drop it in the WhatsApp group, guys. So frankly speaking, I didn't write it manually. I generated these notes through Copilot only. Let me be very honest here. This is not my own notes. Now, let me come here. So we have some components in Power BI. So Microsoft Power BI comprises of several components that work together to provide a comprehensive data analysis and visualization solution. So if you don't have all these components, then Power BI is not a good application, guys. Let me come here. We have the first component, which is Power BI Desktop, which is a free of cost application. You can go to Microsoft Store, you can download this Power BI Desktop, and you can start your Power BI journey. So to start your journey, like I mentioned, you don't have to pay a single rupee. It's a free application. You just need to download by going to the Microsoft website or by going to Microsoft Store. And from there, you can download and you can install on your machine. And what do we do with Power BI Desktop? So we transform data and we shape the data and we create visualizations. So basically, using Power BI Desktop, we are going to create reports, guys, reports and data models. You can clearly observe we are not creating dashboard here using Power BI Desktop. So this is the first component what we have in Power BI Desktop. The next component what we have here is Power BI Service. Power BI Service is an online platform. Please be very, very, very clear. It is not on-premise application. Power BI Service is online platform. So why do we use Power BI Service? If you ask me what is the difference between Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service, using Power BI Desktop, we create report. But if you want to share it with others, we need to have Power BI Service. But Power BI Service is not a free one. So here we need to go with licensing. You need to go with a paid license. Then you can share your Power BI report with others. You can share or you can collaborate and access reports and dashboards via web browser or mobile app. Once you publish your dashboard or report to Power BI service, even we have an interface here, Power BI Mobile. That's a mobile application which is supported by iOS and Android. So you can download this application, and whatever the reports are created using Power BI Desktop or using Power BI service, they can be accessed very easily on Power BI Mobile. You might ask me, what is a big thing in Power BI Mobile? So if you use laptop or a computer, the layout is totally different. And if you are using mobile, layout is very different. Now, whatever the report we create in Power BI desktop, the same layout cannot be used in Power BI mobile. So the layout should be changed. So when you have Power BI mobile, guys, what happens? The layout and the changes will be done automatically. So we don't have to do anything manually here. That's where, especially the C-suite or the hair management, or especially people like CEOs, CFOs, CTOs, CXOs, they felt really easy. The reason why, on the go, they can access all their reports and dashboard. So they found it very easily. So that's the reason people are using Power BI a lot. Now, I come to this maybe tomorrow. Let me come here, guys. The next component what we have here is Power BI Gateway. Sometimes what happens, you will not have your entire data on cloud platform. You may have your on-premise data sets. So once you publish your dashboard on Power BI service, this dashboard or report should be connected with your on-premise applications. That can be done easily with Power BI Gateway here. Yeah, using this Power BI Gateway, we will connect the online reports and dashboards with the on-premise application, so that refresh can be done very easily. And if you make any changes in your on-premise applications, that can be easily reflected in your Power BI cloud reports. So that will be taken care by Power BI Gateway. And next one, what we have here is Power BI Embedded. So this is an API service, guys, where, like our friend mentioned, the integration can be done very easily. For example, let's say you want to have some Python related reports using Power BI. Yeah, absolutely. We can go with Python scripting. So that's where we need a lot of APIs here. So we have embedded Power BI here. So I'll try to cover this topic also, because these days people are using this a lot. And next, so Power BI refresh, that's what one of our friends was mentioning. So whenever you want to have real-time data, obviously you need to refresh your data. So you can go with on-demand refresh, or you can schedule the refresh, or you can go with an incremental refresh. We have so many components here. All these are part of Power BI refresh. By considering all these things, so we are going to drive our sessions for next 20 to 25 days, guys. Let me take a pause here. Does anyone have any questions? If I'm sounding too technical, please let me know, guys. No questions? Can I move on? Yeah. Now, everybody is very silent. I assume we don't have any questions. So let me come here. I'm talking about Power BI licensing, guys. So if anybody is having M365, which is Microsoft 365 account, now Power BI is included in Microsoft 365. So whatever the account you are using for your Microsoft 365, you can access Power BI service account for free. This is a free account, guys. Yeah. So that's what I mentioned here. You can clearly see this. So licensing type, Power BI, we have free license. It's a basic license, guys. What we can do, you can create and share reports, but you can share your reports yourself only. You cannot share it with others. Generally, what kind of, or who prefers Power BI free account? Individual users. And here we have limited capabilities. Even when it comes to sharing also, we have very limited capability here. We can go with basic visualizations and report creation. But when it comes to Power BI Pro, you can see this, guys. This is the next licensing what we have. This is like advanced license, but it's a paid license. Earlier, I mean, I think 3-4 months back, Microsoft used to charge $10 per month, but they went with the price revision. Now, I think Microsoft is charging $14 per month. You can see this here. Okay, so I'm showing you the pricing also here. If you go with Power BI Pro, so you need to pay $14 per month per user. For example, let's say I have a small startup and I want to take Power BI Pro license for 5 users. So 5 into 14, that's the amount what I need to pay. Yeah. Then the next licensing what we have here is Power BI Premium per user. So if we go with this licensing, then we need to pay $24 per month. So that's what I mentioned here. You can say this Power BI Premium. You would ask me how it is different from Power BI Pro. So this is specifically designed for large organizations, guys. I'm not saying that from day one, you need to have Power BI Premium license. No, we will deal with this in other way. But what we can do with Power BI Premium, you can design your reports and you can share your reports with large audience here. And even it will have AI capabilities and it is costly. So various tools are included, but that depends on the requirement here. Okay, so these are the general 3 licensings what we have here, guys. But now let me come here. For example, let's say somebody comes and say, I'm working with a retail client. For example, let's say I'm working with DMart. Let's imagine DMart is using Salesforce. Now I want to embed Salesforce into my Power BI report, or I want to have some embedding between my applications. In that case, we need to go with Power BI embedded. For that, the pricing vary, depends on the negotiations, what we will have with Microsoft. So these are the licensings, what we have, guys. Somebody is saying something. I think I cannot opt for this course as I don't have knowledge in query language. Could you advise where can I learn SQL language, whether Excelytics is providing? Yeah, sure, Satyakiti, please give us some time. We will connect with you. Yeah, so here, feature comparison, we have feature comparison also, guys. So here, this is not my own information. You can go to Microsoft website and you can search all these features here, guys. So this is one of the important interview questions generally people ask. This is for experienced people I'm mentioning. If you are going with Power BI free account, guys, you can say this. Yeah. So we don't get any data refresh here. But if you are going with Power BI Pro, you get 8 refresh per day. But if you are going with Power BI Premium, you can refresh your data 48 times in a day, which means for every half an hour, you can schedule a refreshing. And even this happens with Power BI Embedded. So one of our friends was talking about real-time analytics. For example, let's say I'm working with the National Stock Exchange. I cannot say that I work with 1 hour back data. No, because stock prices will be changing very frequently. So that is the reason I need to have the latest data. If your data is getting changed very frequently, then your Power BI Pro license even doesn't work. So it depends on the organization, depends on the business requirements, guys. We need to have a proper licensing, then we can work with this. And also here we have very important component here, that is storage. So here, if you go with Pro license, you get 10 GB where you can store your reports and dashboards and your data models up to 10 GB on your cloud application. And if it is Power BI Premium, you can store 100 GB. And for Power BI Embedded, it varies, guys. Yeah. So if somebody wants to have a guide, I would encourage to come here and download this guide so that you can explore more on it. Any questions do we have? Can I? If anyone has any questions, please do let me know, guys. Yeah, whenever I talk about this, immediately people will come and say, do I need to create a service account from day one? Absolutely not required, guys. How we are going to drive the sessions? So basically, first, we will download Power BI Desktop. So Power BI Desktop has, once you download Power BI Desktop, then we'll be dealing with three components here again. First one is called Power Query, which is used for ETL. Whenever you want to extract, transform, and load, we'll work with the Power Query, guys. Once you have your data ready, then we go to Power Pivot. So we'll be working with Power Pivot. This is where we are going to create our data model. So once we are done with this, then finally we create our report. So that's where we use Power BI. So we will start with Power BI Desktop. As part of Power BI Desktop, we will be learning these three topics. Once we are done with this, then we will move to Power BI service. So to complete Power BI Desktop, it takes at least 12 to 15 days, or maybe like 10 to 12 days. Once we are done with this, all these concepts, then we will show you how do we create the service account. Then we create the required service account. Then we will be working with this, guys. As part of that, now for today's session, let me come here. I'm going to Power BI Desktop. So once you download, how do you download? The preferred way, guys, go to Microsoft Store. Yeah, if you come to Microsoft Store and just search for Power BI Desktop. Okay, in case you're doing it, if you're working on your personal machine, this is absolutely fine. You can download Power BI Desktop. As I already installed, I see like open, else I see here like get. There will be a word here, guys, get. So you can download, and the installation process is quite easy. You can just keep on saying yes or okay, then the installation will be completed. Once the installation is completed, then you can search for Power BI Desktop, and you can go to the app. So sorry. Yeah, you can come here. You can see this Power BI Desktop application. So you can click on this, then it will be open, guys. There is other way of installation also, that what people do is they come here, they go to Power BI.microsoft.com. Even from this website also, you can download, guys. Yeah, or generally, most of the people, what they do, they say Power BI download. Yeah, even from here also, you can download, guys. Okay, you can come here, Microsoft.com. From this Microsoft.com, you can download it. But I would suggest, please download it from Microsoft Store only, guys. The reason why, Microsoft is continually updating Power BI Desktop. So apart from January, rest of the 11 months, you receive update every month. Yeah, generally in January, we will not receive the updates, guys, which means Power BI Desktop will be up to date if you install it from Microsoft Store. The reason why, they push the updates so that it will be updated. If you download it from website, what happens, guys, Microsoft.com, then you have to update on your own. So what I mean to say, here you have a chance that you may miss some of the latest features. So if you want to be up to date with Power BI Desktop, I would suggest you to go with Microsoft Store and install from here. Okay, so directly, that's the reason what I did. I went to Microsoft Store. This is like what we have like Play Store on the Android phones. The same way, you can come to Microsoft Store and you can download from here and you can start using it. Now, let me come here. The moment you try to open Power BI Desktop, guys, as of now, we are getting the opening screen like this. Like 8 months back or 10 months back, we used to get a different screen, but Microsoft updated it. Now, right now, we are getting the screen like this. I mean, this screen looks even similar to Excel only. Now, what we have here, in Excel, generally, we say blank workbook. The same way here, blank report we have. Then, what it is saying, select a data source or start with a blank report. If you want to start from scratch, you can go with the blank report and you can start creating your reports. Else, here, what we see, we call them as data connectors. Now, if you click on get data from other sources, let me click on get data from other sources. So here we see a big list. So this is what sometime back one of our friends was mentioning, that Power BI can be connected with all these data sources. We have the readily available connectors. Using these connectors, you can connect Power BI to all these applications, which means the integration will be done very, very easily because we have the connectors here. In case you don't have it, even you can create your custom connector also. That's also pretty much possible, guys, that we have a way to create a custom connector here. But right now what we are doing, so we will learn how do we connect to various data sources and how do we extract data from various sources. While extracting data, what kind of precautions we need to take. We will learn all those things in the due course. Yep. Let me take a pause here. Does anyone have any questions? Everybody is very silent. Can I assume we don't have any questions, guys? Please feel free to ask questions, guys. Hi, Amrita, specifically from your side, do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, I think we're good till here.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let me come here, guys. Now, what I'm doing, in case the moment you download your Power BI desktop, so if you want to start from here, you can go with the getting started. But now what I'm doing here, let me click on blank report. Same like how do we open Excel blank workbook, the same way what I'm doing here. Let me click on blank report. If I click on blank report, yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention one more important thing. If you want to work with Power BI, guys, even we have system requirement. Let me talk about the hardware requirement, what we have here. First thing, make sure you have minimum 4 GB RAM, guys. If you have 8 GB, that's really nice. But make sure you have minimum 4 GB. And i3 old processors, they are not supportive to Power BI, guys. I request whether to have i3 latest processor or i5 in case if you are using Intel processor, or i7. Yeah, if you are using AMD Ryzen, we don't have any problem. So it's supporting. So, but if you are going with Intel processors, guys, make sure you have the i3 latest processor or i5 or i7. Next one. So here we need to have SSD. By any chance, if anyone is using old laptop, guys, hard disk drive, HDD laptops are not very supportive here. Make sure you have SSD. Otherwise, what happens, guys? The moment you try to perform one action or you try to work with Power BI, it takes a lot of time for processing. If somebody is preparing a report in 5 minutes, the people with HDD, what happens, guys? They may prepare the same report maybe in 20 to 25 minutes. There's a huge time gap, guys. So system-wise, these are the requirements what we have. If you have 8 GB, that's too good. 8 GB is perfectly fine. And if you have more than that, that's really nice. But if you are using Intel processor, why I'm saying Intel processor? Because most of us are using Intel processors. That's where make sure you have the i3 latest processor or i5 or i7. Then, very important, make sure you have SSD, not HDD. In case if you have HDD, if you spare like 1,500 to 2,000 rupees, then you can migrate to SSD, guys, so that you can use your laptop. So these are the system requirements. Now let me minimize this notepad and let me come here. The moment you try to open Power BI desktop, so this is the user interface, what you get. Same like Excel. In Excel, how do we have tabs and groups? The same way here we can see Home tab, Insert tab, Modeling, View. We have various tabs here. And each tab contains a lot of options here. Same like Excel, we call them as groups. So this is Clipboard group, this is Data group, this is Queries group, this is Insert group, this is Calculations group. Yeah, so we have a ribbon bar. On ribbon bar, we have various tabs, and each tab contains various options. Then on the left-hand side, we call this as views pane. Now, the first view, what we have here is, we call this as a report view. Second view, what we have here is table view. It looks like your Excel sheet only. So this is table view. And third one is model view. This is where we establish relationship from one table to another table. And we identify like what are our active relationships and what are our inactive relationships. We will try to do all those things from model. And last one, what we can do here is, this was implemented like 4 or 5 months back only. Earlier, we don't have this, guys. I think not 4 or 5 months. I think it's in somewhere around October 2024. This query view, sorry, DAX query view is added to Power BI Desktop. So now here, what you can do, you can write your DAX query also. Yeah, you can literally sit and write your query. Now, so we have the 4 views here. Out of the 4 views, which one we use a lot, that is report view. If you come to report view, you see on my screen, there is a space between the dotted lines here. This screen, we call this as canvas. And this is the place what we use to generate our reports. So out of the canvas, you cannot work, guys. So that's the reason whatever the visualizations we are trying to create, it should be compatible with this canvas. Please keep that in mind. Then let me come here. If I come to Home tab, so sorry, I forgot to mention here. So once I'm moving from left to right, guys, if you see this here, we have a filters pane here, P-A-N-E. So based on your requirement, what you can do is, you can enable or disable this pane. So you can see this here. Now I'm in View tab. In View tab, if you come here, let me uncheck filters. Then the filters pane is gone. So based on the requirement, you may keep it as active or you can disable this. Next, just beside the filters pane, we have visualizations pane here. Power BI Desktop comes with a lot of visualizations here. Now you see all the default visualizations here. And Microsoft is continuously updating. They will add few more visualizations also here. And apart from this, if you have a license, Power BI license, we spoke about Power BI licensing, then what you can do, once you sign in, you can create your custom visuals also. That's where sometime back, one of our friends was mentioning that she saw really nice dashboard. How it is done? Every time you cannot work with your basic visuals only. Sometimes we have to go with custom visuals. So if you are logged in, then here you can go with custom visuals also. Next, if you go a little right, so here we have data pane. Once the data is loaded to Power BI desktop, from here, using the data, we will go with drag and drop feature, and we create necessary and required reports and dashboards. Yep. Any questions? Does anyone have any question here? Am I confusing, guys? Everybody became very silent. No questions? Is related to sessions or related to practice files or related to even interviews, you can always ask me a question. That's absolutely fine. That's the reason I'm asking everyone to go through the course content. And so ask your questions, guys. In case you are not clear, let me know so that I can repeat the topic.
Yeah, Kiran, maybe just this view right now on the screen, you can just quickly summarize into shortcuts.
Which one, Amrita?
Just the one when we got into this desktop view and the visualization view. What exactly are the do's and don'ts? Just a quick snippet.
Okay. Let me come here. So our friend is asking like, can we have a brief introduction on do's and don'ts? Like, how do we use it? So now in report view, what do? We create our reports, guys. Yeah. So we have the canvas here. Using this canvas, we create the report. That anyway, I'll show you in a minute. Then whenever we want to work with data, like sometimes we add new columns, sometimes we delete some columns. In that case, we come to table view. Using this table view, we do all those activities, guys. The next one, what we have here, model view here. This is where I mentioned, like, we need to know joins. Why I mentioned joins, you can see this here. If you observe on my screen, 1, 2, 3. So 3 tables are connected here. If you want to do similar kind of activity in Excel, people write a lot of VLOOKUP formulas and they prepare a combined table. But here, you can keep your sources as individual only. But using the primary key and foreign key concept, what do? We establish relationship from one table to another table, and using that, we will work. Yeah, now let me come here. I go to report view. Once I'm in report view, now what I'm doing, I'm not going with either import data from Excel as on today. Even I'm not going with import data from SQL Server, and I'm not going with paste data into a blank table. No, even I'm not doing this. So let me come here. I'm going with the last option, that is use sample data. Now, if I click on this use sample data, now Power BI is asking for a confirmation. What exactly you're trying to do? As you clicked on use sample data, which means maybe you're not familiar with Power BI. So then what you can do, you can take the tutorial. Then by going through the tutorial, you can create your report. But now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to load my sample data. So the moment I click on load sample data, then here what happens, guys, from Power BI desktop, a connection will be established with the source, and you see one more screen here. Yeah, now this is a screen, what we call as navigator. Now using this navigator, what do? We tap the right data sources. Now, if you observe on my screen under navigator, I have financials and I have sheet one. I don't know what sheet one, so that's the reason what I'm doing. Let me select financials. The moment you select financials, now here what you can do, you can see like three options. One is load, second one is transform data, and third one is cancel. So if you are 100% sure that we don't have any issues in the data, then you can click on load. But I never do that, guys. The reason why? So here we need to do a lot of transformations. If you want to do transformations, which means if you want to do any modifications to your data, that's where we click on load sample data. Any questions so far?
Can you place the cursor, Kiran, because the screen is transform data. We don't
Yeah.
see your cursor moving.
Okay. Now let me click on this transform data. You're saying that
Yeah.
you're getting this cursor, Amrita?
No, now it's visible when you moved it. I was just checking, is the screen frozen just for me, or do I really see the cursor moving where you're pointing out?
Okay. So now let me come here. I click on transform data. The moment I click on transform data, then what happens? One more screen will be opened, and this is a magic screen. This is nothing but Power Query Editor.
Okay.
Even you can see this here. It looks pretty similar to Excel only. Same way, how do we have various tabs in Excel? The same way you see a lot of tabs here. On left-hand side, you see queries pane, and in the middle of the screen, you see the preview of the data. And on the right-hand side, you see the query settings. Now, whatever we do, so here, using Power Query, we are going to perform a lot of activities, guys. Now, whatever we do, everything will be recorded here under applied steps. You can see this here, guys. Financial, that's the name of this data. So that's been reflecting here. But in Power Query, we don't use the word as table. So here we call them as queries. Now, on left-hand side, you see queries pane. In the middle of the screen, you see the preview of the data. And on the right-hand side, you see the applied steps related to the query. Yeah. For today, I'm not doing anything. So let me come to home. Right now, I have my data in Power Query Editor. Now what I'm doing, let me click on close and apply. What happens? This Power BI desktop screen will be closed and the data will be loaded with the changes if you made any. Else, so here you can click on close. If you click on close without storing the changes, this Power Query Editor screen will be closed. Next one, financials. Sorry, next one is like apply. So when you say apply, the screen remains same, but the changes will be updated in Power Query Editor only. It will never reflect back to Power BI. So now what I'm doing here, let me go to close and apply, and I would say close and apply. If I say close and apply, guys, you can see this. It takes some time and it is saying that load. Financials data is getting loaded, and you can see this loading data to data model. Then it said that it gave a confirmation like 700 rows loaded. Now, how do we find that? If you come to data tab here, data pane, under data pane, you have financials. Now, if you expand the financials, what you see here, all these are nothing but your headers in the data. Now, what I'm doing here, we have so many visualizations. Out of that, first, let me go to one specific visualization here, which is called as clustered column chart. Now, if I click on clustered column chart, now you can see this. The clustered column chart is placed on canvas. Now, once the visualization is placed in the canvas, now what you can do, you can see this here, guys. In visualization pane, x-axis is added and y-axis is added. Now, let me go with the requirement. The requirement, what I'm taking here, segment-wise, I want to see my gross sales. Let me drag and drop segment into x-axis. And let me drag and drop something related to, sales. Let me drag and drop it to y-axis. You can see this here. First, it will display how many segments we have. And out of that, how the sales trend is like, you can find out from here. Any questions so far? What we have done, we loaded the sample data, and using the loaded sample data, so here we created a small visualization. Does anyone have any questions, guys? Amrita, am I clear, ma'am? You asked about do's and don'ts.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Kiran, for that.
Okay. Yeah. If no further questions, guys, I'll stop it here for today. I'm going to share two files. One is I'll share these notes in the WhatsApp group. I request everyone to go through these notes as well. I will share Power BI desktop installation process document also. Please complete the installation process and be available tomorrow at 9:30.
Okay. One quick question.
Yeah, please.
Might be a generic question for many. How excellent or how pro one has to be in order to get started with Power BI? I remember you gave some checklists of the mandate learnings which one has to keep ready, because that will make life easy when you get into Power BI, right? But how pro one has to be? Someone who is a starter, because I know Power BI is a life easy thing, but when we are doing something, we cannot do it just like a painting without knowing what it takes to be a painter there, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so on a scale of 10, what do you think those mandate things which you listed, how good one should be? I'm not 10 on 10 on that. Probably I'm at 6 or 7, or maybe less than 7, but not 10 on 10. So should I make myself 10 on 10 with those mandates, then begin my Power BI journey? I would still call myself beginner for sure, because when I want something, I still have to go for some ad hoc e-learning things, and then I come back because I have a self-doubt. Okay, that's my very honest status. But I don't say I'm a complete layman to it. No, but I still like calling myself, because when I'm ad hocly jumping into e-learning to understand and give better data output as a report, that means I'm not hands-on with it, right? It's very, very clear. And I accept the fact that I'm not. So what do you think on a scale of 10, I have to be, or someone as me, on that mandate learnings? Should I be 10 on 10 to come here, or I'm okay to be a 7 on 10 or 6 on 10 and still parallelly run the show? And then obviously keep upskilling for sure. What do you think? I don't know if I could articulate it correctly, but
No, you asked in a very right way. Even if you are 3 with Excel, that's pretty much enough.
okay.
Yeah, the reason why I specifically mentioned about this, because we may have some freshers. What happens on Instagram and YouTube, people are running so many campaigns. They say that learn Power BI.
Yeah,
I mean to say that that doesn't work. If you don't know
absolutely.
what, yeah, if you don't know what is a header, how do you work with the data, ma'am? That's what I was trying to highlight.
Yeah, totally agree. I think I was trying to do the same some years back and I was fooling myself. And I
Okay.
had a good self realization because I don't wait for someone else to make me realize. I realize myself. Unless I know what it takes to paint, how can I just directly be a painter, right? I
That's,
should know what it takes, what
yeah.
colors it takes, what meaning it takes, how good it can be, etc. All the
Hmm.
ingredients. Unless I just can't say Power BI is so easy, so let me get into it. And I made a mess of my reports. Okay. And I didn't, I came back and I said myself, oh, I think I don't know anything. First, let me, everything has its own root things to address. So I went into the analysis myself, but it didn't work because you always need right things to learn from a right person and right space.
Yes.
And I'm not a YouTube learning person at all. YouTube is never there with me. I'm never on that. Neither I have it on my apps and desktop. So that is where this whole journey started. I did self learnings. I did that. I didn't fail. I was okay as a beginner, but I'm not hands on. I'm here to become hands on. I know it takes time. I need to experiment, make mistakes, come back, make mistakes, and come back. But I'm not 10 on 10 pro on those do's and don'ts. I have to become 10 on 10, I believe, in the journey. Okay, let's see how much time it takes. Maybe before we end this session, Kiran, do you want to quickly just go back to your, you had a syllabus covering pointers, right? Where you had an end to last, where you're covering everything. Do you just want to brief the timelines? How much timeline would it take for, even if it is a good beginner with Excel, they know good Excel, maybe not super advanced Excel, but at least the things that you said. How much time do you think tentatively it can take for someone to cleanse the data and give out some decent report? Not a pro report, but a decent report in Power BI.
I would say 45 days, Amrita.
Okay, let's do 2 months. Okay.
Yeah. Minimum, like, uh, to
2 months.
complete these topics, we need minimum of 30-day sessions. And let me add 15 days for hands-on. So I would consider 45 days so that we can make some meaningful reports. For example, let me come here. All of a sudden, management comes and asks, can you prepare a YTD report?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then, first of all, if we don't know YTD, what do we do with that? Though we know Power BI, we can't do anything there.
I know the knowledge of business is more important before even we get into the report. Report is more of a technical and then functional mix, but
Yes.
metrics are important to understand. So I'm a bit lucky on that because I'm working since some good years in the industry. So I understand the business, I understand what metrics it takes.
Yeah.
But I'm now preparing my own dashboards. I don't want to depend on a Power BI guy in my company. Of course, I'm depending actually,
Hmm.
but I know how to articulate my requirement very, very clearly, very technically. So it's easy for him to understand and then just come back with something. But I'm always finding some loops there because that report shows up very generic to me and not great. Then
Okay.
that's where I want to become myself as hands-on, where I don't have to actually depend on someone for that report.
Yeah.
And they are not bringing that great to the table. They're just being very, very basic,
Generic one.
but they are just calling themselves the Power BI expert. I don't think, I don't say everyone is like that. Someone holding with me is like that. And I do have a license from the company to use it
That's nice.
recently again, but I don't want to even get inside the pro premium licenses unless I know what I'm going to do or unless I even have worth of it with me. Right. So I
Mhm.
question that. To remove self doubt is what is upskilling all about. And that's where I think I'm looking forward to this. I think your demo was easy to understand. Your flow is very, very good. You're slow paced, also making sure that every mind understands, whether it's experienced or fresher. Business knowledge is important for sure. I agree with that. What is YTD? What is EOI? People have to understand business for sure. Super. I'm looking forward to this and I will meet tomorrow. Thanks a lot for the detailed and patient enough. You're not quickly rushing like any other trainers. You're
Thank you.
not a trainer, you're acting to be like a good anchor who can who can be our anchor to get into the subject in the right way and the right path and the right pace.
Thank you for that. So definitely I'll try to do my best. And even I come from non-technical background. I'm not a BTech, so I did my
I'm a
B.
zero techie person, by the way. I'm a pure coming from legal and HR background. I'm heading the
Oh, okay.
region, so I'm zero techie person. But I love to work like a engineer from inside.
That's
It's
great.
just like a passion for things
Yeah.
and learning. And I sit with all my engineers and I ask them all fish and bone analysis. A lot of questions I ask them. How does API connect? How disconnect? How that integrates? How are we making money for the business? So if you're working in a product industry, not necessarily you should be an engineer to understand things. If you have the curiosity to understand how company is making money by product and what is that software product? How is it connected? How do you make money out of it? Right. So these things gave me that engineering boost in me. And then, yeah, I love making my own report. Somehow I don't like depending on anybody. And I love when I do that. I struggle, but it's okay. The struggle is worth. After some, if I'm not able to do it one day, but I'll do it in 10 days. But it's okay. It's worth because 11th day I come out with something.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. That's really nice. I mean, everybody should have that mindset and approach.
Yeah, otherwise I feel like every day we feel like a failure, right? If you don't
Yeah.
learn something new, put some 1 hour every day to learn something new, then your brain is active both left and right side, and
Yeah.
let you do. Otherwise, one side of the brain is always sleeping, and then we age very faster. Okay, super. Thank you, everyone. I don't see much people talking here, no idea, but I think we can look forward for a very great interactive learning sessions upfront coming. I'll be part of it for sure. Thanks a lot, Kiran.
Thank you, Amita. So we will meet tomorrow. Even we'll have the introduction from everyone maybe after some time. As today is the first day, maybe once the batch is settled, then definitely we'll have a proper introduction. Then we will take the things forward.
Yeah, the only thing is I can attend only offline because I'm based some other corner of the city and travel becomes a concern. Rather, I
Okay.
put more time in learning, in traveling. But yeah, screen time increases. Can't help. I can only do mindful meditation to remove my screen time stress. But offline is the only chance. Though I prefer actually classroom trainings. I'm personally preferring that. But yeah, that's something a bit
If,
challenging.
if anybody wants to come for offline, I'll be the most happiest person. Please do come for offline session. Sometimes when
Yeah.
I'm in emergency, then I would give the, I mean, I update the people that we will have online session, but generally I prefer the offline session even.
Super,
Hi,
super.
good morning. Hi, good morning, Kiran and Miss
Hello.
Hi, Sayed.
Said here. Yeah, it was nice demo, nice class, and
Thank you.
appreciate for that. And regarding I looking forward for the offline only. Okay,
Okay.
so let me check with the guy I didn't remember, which is I'm communicating with this
Okay.
group and all. Okay,
You can have a word
so
with our team, sir.
yeah, sorry.
I mean, you can discuss that with our team.
Yeah. Sure, sure, sure.
Okay.
So maybe let me finalize today the formalities and everything. Let's
Sure.
see what will go.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking time. We will meet tomorrow at 9:30.
Thank you so much. Good day.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you.